All right, let's set the scene. We're at the legendary Wembley Stadium for the 2026 Carabao Cup final. And what a matchup we have. Manchester City taking on Arsenal. This is going to be good. You know, for Man City, coming to Wembley is, well, it's almost like a home game. Seriously, the fans have a nickname for it, the Etihad South. And when you look at how often they've been here under Pep Guardiola, you totally get why. This place has become their second home, and a very, very successful one as that. So, when we say dominant, what are we actually talking about? Well, the stats behind this Etihad South nickname are pretty mind-blowing. They really paint a picture of just how much of a fortress this has become for them. Okay, get this. This final was City's 22nd visit to Wembley under Pep. 22nd. It was their 10th League Cup final in the club's history, and the 5th one just since Pep took the reins. And to top it all off, it's a rematch of the 2018 final against, you guessed it, Arsenal. That was the game where Pep won his very first trophy with City. So yeah, the stage was absolutely set for something special. But hold on. Before City could even think about settling in and taking control, they had to survive a massive, massive scare. Arsenal were this close to flipping the entire script of this final in a single, heart-stopping moment. So early on, Arsenal just exploded out of the blocks. We're talking beautiful, one-touch, lightning-fast passing that just carved City's defense wide open. All of a sudden, they're in on goal with a golden chance to go 1-0 up. It was a proper moment of danger. And this is it, the moment that could have changed everything. The shot comes in from Zubi-Mendy. It looks like a certain goal, but James Trafford makes a brilliant save. Then the rebound comes back out, he's up in a flash to block it again. And then there's a third attempt, and he just smothers it. Wow, an absolutely unbelievable triple save, all in the span of a couple of seconds. Let's be clear here. That wasn't just a great save. That was a match-defining moment. Without that incredible bit of goalkeeping, the story of this final would be completely different. Trafford pretty much single-handedly kept the score at 0-0, and you could just feel the boost it gave his entire team. So, after surviving that huge scare, you could see a change in City. They didn't just breathe a sigh of relief. They started to impose themselves on the game, taking control of the ball, and you could feel that pressure building towards what would become the opening goal. And what followed was this really interesting tactical battle. You had City playing with this real courage, constantly pushing, actively trying to win the game. And then you had Arsenal, who seemed, well, a bit more cautious. It was almost like they were playing not to lose rather than playing to win. And that difference in approach, you could feel it in the stadium. The momentum completely shifted. City started to just dominate, pinning Arsenal deeper and deeper into their own half. The blue side of Wembley started to get louder. They could sense a goal was coming. And, well, they weren't wrong. And there is the breakthrough. Ryan Cherry fires in this hard, driven cross. Now the Arsenal keeper comes for it, but gets it all wrong, completely misjudges the flight and gets caught in no man's land. And who's there to punish the mistake? Of course, it's the academy kid, Nico O'Reilly, who just ghosts in at the perfect moment to head it into the net. Honestly, you have to say it was coming. It was nothing less than they deserved for being so positive and taking the game to Arsenal. That courage we talked about, it paid off. The deadlock was broken, and City were finally in charge. But Nico O'Reilly's big Wembley moment? Oh, it was far from over. The young man who got the first goal was about to pop up again to deliver the killer blow, the one that would pretty much seal the deal for City. And if the first goal came from a mistake, the second one was pure classic Man City. This was all about precision, teamwork, and just beautiful, slick football that totally unlocked that Arsenal defense. The build-up was just a joy to watch. Okay, so here's how it happened. It all starts with this brilliant little reverse pass between Rodri and Nunez. That simple move creates all the space Nunez needs to just clip this perfectly weighted ball to the back post. And who's there again? Nico O'Reilly. He makes this great, intelligent run, waits for it, rises up, and just guides the header back across the keeper. No chance. Absolutely perfect. And that right there, that's the moment. That's the part of the story that football fans especially just live for. You always hear it in football, right? There's nothing better than when one of your own delivers. And it's so true. For all those City fans in the stands, for the staff who've watched him grow, to see a kid from your own academy, Nico O'Reilly, score 2 goals to win you a cup final at Wembley, I mean, that's what it's all about. That's a special, special feeling. So the final whistle goes, the celebrations kick off, and City have another trophy in the cabinet. But this win was bigger than just that. This was one of those victories that writes a new chapter in the history books, both for the club and for the man in charge. So check this out. This was City's ninth Carabao Cup title. That is a huge number. To put it in perspective, they are now just one single win behind Liverpool for the all-time record. It just goes to show their absolute mastery of this competition in the modern era. But amazing as that is for the club, there is another even bigger piece of history made that day, a personal record for the man on the touchline. The number is 5. And for Pep Guardiola, this wasn't just his 5th League Cup trophy. No, this was a massive landmark. Because with this win, Pep Guardiola officially became the first manager in the entire history of English football to win the League Cup 5 times. Think about that, the first ever. Just an incredible, record-breaking achievement that further cements his place as an absolute legend. So when you look back on it, you have a pivotal, game-changing save, a manager breaking an all-time record, and a fairy tale story for an academy kid on the biggest stage. It really makes you think, doesn't it? Beyond the medals and the name on the trophy, what's the real, lasting legacy of a day like this? Something for us all to chew on.